Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Chris. Good morning. How are y'all doing? It's good to be back after a few days last week of not streaming. Morning, Tyler, Sharif. How are y'all doing? Abel, good morning. Let's see. Today may be pretty interesting. If y'all noticed this near 1,000 point drop overnight since last night. So we'll see how it goes. Good morning, Steve. Today, definitely going to be patient. I mean, we always have to be, but Chinese tech called DeepSeek, what they do. So I do have a minor buy side liquidity marked here. We do have a big gap. Let's go over. We do have 10 a.m. news, new home. I think it's the home pending sales, something like that. But morning, Benton, homeless agent. Good morning. I like that name. All right. So first, let's jump to the weekly chart here. Volatility's got my chart. There we go. Let's go to the weekly chart here. We have some nice buy side liquidity right up here from last week. This drop did make us drop below last week's low here, nearly the week before. But right now, if you see, I mean, it's not on the weekly chart. We're pretty neutral at the moment. I mean, we do have some nice sell side liquidity resting under here. But we also have that buy side liquidity that was engineered up last week. So I'm neutral right now. And if I go to the daily chart, hop over here, the daily chart, we did flip bullish for me last week because we took this swing high and we did displace, but obviously now, and we left all this relatively equal highs up here, lots of buy side liquidity up here, but we didn't rebalance this fair value gap completely. We left a small portion unbalanced there, and then we dropped. We do have this inversion right here on the daily chart, so I am kind of looking at that. We're in here, so this is going to be, I switched a little bit back to neutral overall because of this big drop. Now, if it's a tech issue with a company, like Chris said, that could be just a temporary drop and we could find ourselves, heading back bullish. But at the moment, I'm kind of like that needle was bullish. It's kind of going a little bit towards the neutral side for the moment. So we'll see. And I doubt today we do an immediate rebalance of this gap. So if that's the case, this is going to be interesting to watch. So now, I mean, I really have to rely on my lower time frames. The 15-minute. Let's see what the 1 hour is doing here. I mean, we had that big drop, lots of gapping. I mean, we'll see what happens here. Of course, like I said, here's all that buy side liquidity up here still. This big gap, and that, ended up being a new day opening gap right there, right? So, I mean, new week opening gap. So with the new week opening gap, there's a potential we can go back up here at some point this week. We have Fed funds rate on Wednesday. So, we got to be careful today and tomorrow as well. And then definitely, I'm not trading Wednesday. I don't trade Fed funds morning. The Fed funds rate decision, those mornings, I don't trade. So I won't be here streaming Wednesday. So we'll see. Maybe we climb back up. Yeah. So we have some on the 5-minute because we didn't have much going on the 15-minute. We just dropped, So basically, we have this area of smoothness here I'm looking at as a buy side liquidity. I had this minor buy side liquidity there. I'm going to go ahead and remove it since we just blew right up through it. This is a minor sell side liquidity here. It's not anything I'm really expecting price to go to, but I want to see Basically, what I want to see is, do we sweep up here, or are we going to just have a day where we're going to just kind of try to recover this? So that's kind of what I'm watching. We do have, of course, a huge opening range gap. So we still have a couple others that we never filled. Like, let's see. Well, this one we did fill. So let me go ahead and get rid of that, because I like to have the least amount of lines as possible if I can help it. This one, yeah, got rid of that one too. So basically, we just gap down below everything. And let's see, is there anything else below us? There's this one, but that's with this inversion here. So last month's low. I'll just kind of take a mental note of that one. Let me mark out my low. We have the open down here. So that's going to be our opening range gap. Oops, low. And I'm going to mark the date because I don't know if we fill this today. So just in case if we don't fill it today, I want to have it, I want to lock it in, basically. Throw my fib out so I can measure. Measure the midpoint of it here, 511.75. All right. There we go. Now, hop back down to the 1. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what we have. This very well could be manipulation back up for it to continue lower. We got to wait. Like today, we got to wait for sure. Ah, nice, Chris. Good research there. Hey, Max, how's it going? Yeah, we have a drop on MNQ or NQ, both. Let's see what ES is doing here. Yeah, very similar on ES. YM. Yeah, YMs are recovering pretty quick. If it's some weird news thing like that, which it sounds like it is, that made that drop, we very well could see a recovery today. Because like I said, before that, I was already switched back bullish overall, like on the date from the daily chart. And we had some nice buy side liquidity. I was anticipating running this week at some point, running all this buy side up here at some point. And then I saw last night when I looked, we were down like 500 points or something. And then this morning, I was like, oh my God, what's going on? So yeah, we'll wait and see. We shall wait and see. How'd y'all do last week? Did everybody have a decent week last week? After, I think Tuesday was the last day I streamed. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, how'd y'all do? By the way, last week was pretty good. I broke a couple rules twice last week. I was on the days I wasn't streaming. So I had some stuff come up and I knew I shouldn't have traded. I knew I shouldn't have been trading. My son had a basketball tournament on Friday and this weekend for his district tournament. And yeah, I broke my rule by taking an extra trade, and that never works out for me. So I'll just leave it at that. Been giving back too much of your profits. Yeah, that part's tough. It's like, at what point do you lock in profit? At what point do you move to break even? There's a lot that goes into that for sure. That's where back testing and forward testing comes into play. Because if you come up with an entry and like a bunch of, what you normally look at and say, man, like 90% of the time, 80% of the time, it'll go at least 10 points before it loses 10 points or something, you know, then you can put a plan around that versus just attacking, opposing liquidity or whatever it is you do. Oh, sorry to hear that, Fatima. Gave back all your profit and then blew. I mean, I've done that plenty of times, so nothing to, just gotta, figure out a way to learn from it and try not to let it happen the next time. But yeah, I've done that before. Like you making profit, you're doing good, and then all of a sudden you gave it all back, and then you try to get it back, and then you just spiral out of control from that point. Been there, done that so many times. All right, we got that 10 a.m. news, so I'm gonna leave that here. It's good enough news to make the market react. I'm waiting for a sweep here if this buy side liquidity, and I want that 10 a.m. news, but I'm not opposed to getting in early. If we get an inversion here, because if we sweep this, we very well. Hold on a second. Yeah, see, here's the upper quadrant of the gap for today, the opening range gap. So I want to monitor this upper quadrant from this 0.75 to the midpoint, which really I should flip it. It should be 0.25, but it doesn't matter. It's just the same thing. Monitor from here to here, but I have that buy side liquidity. So I'm definitely something I did last week during my time of no streaming. So I'm always looking to improve, right? What I realized, and I mentioned this a week or two ago, that I'm just so much better at spotting the reversals and basically trading the market maker sell model or market maker buy model. And so that's what I'm going to focus on more. Just waiting for a sweep of liquidity and then go the other way and trade back to equilibrium or the first PD array after equilibrium. Basically, the 2022 model. Because that's where I was really good at. And what I was doing too is I was trying to refine, as y'all know, I was trying to refine stuff by watching the 2024 model and all these other things. But I think what I was doing was putting a little bit too much into my head and basically like not conflicting, but getting away from versus refining, but getting away from what really worked for me last year. Because what happened is these days that I broke my rules off stream it was continuation trades. Like it never swept. It's like the days that y'all saw last week that they just ran. I got caught in those. So if it doesn't sweep and reverse, I'm not taking a trade. Just letting y'all know that right now. I'm looking for sweeps and reversals. So if it doesn't happen, it's usually going to happen on the 950 macro. And if it doesn't, then the 10 a.m. reversal, looking for a sweep. If it doesn't happen, I'm just letting y'all know right now, I'm not taking a trade. See, this fair value gap's holding. I just don't have clear. I mean, yes, there's going to be plenty of targets if I did want to go long, but it's not, the framework isn't there for me yet. See, if I look at 9 a.m., after 9 a.m., we basically, I mean, it's just a little weird of a day with that drop. Nice, Tyler. Good job. Yeah, this is gonna be the first presented fair value gap right here. Is big old one. And one thing I was thinking of too is almost every fair value gap, and I've said this so many times, almost every fair value gap will get you at least 10 to 20 points. So if you can formulate a model around that and see which ones, like the good ones, that'll get you 10, 20 points. Like if you just hit those, have those targets as base hits and try not to risk more than a 1-to-1, you're going to more than likely have a pretty high win rate. And you could be wrong in your trades and still make money. And what I'm kind of going back and forth with a little bit too is how soon should I move to break even? Because if I move to break even sooner than what I normally do, no, you don't have to take more than one trade. You can still just stick to one trade. If it loses, it loses the next day. Because if you have an 80% win rate or more, if it hits 10-point profit before it hits 10-point losers, 80% or more, just accept the loser or the winner every day, and you're good. You're going to make a lot of money. But also, I was debating on how soon I should move to break even. Should I move sooner? Because almost every single one of my trades goes 60 to 80 ticks in profit. Almost every single one of them. Like rarely now do I catch one that just immediately goes into drawdown and never comes back up. Right? So like this is all things I'm forward testing, back testing. I'm just kind of thinking of, should I, when these go up 60, 80 ticks, just go ahead and move to break even? And if I do, I have to accept that I'm going to get stopped out at break even, and that's okay. And what that does is that removes the losses, right? So yeah, I could have won, I could have lost. But that's if the majority of my trades go 60 to 80 points, I'd say at least 80% or more go 60 to 80 ticks. Then if I start moving to break even, yes, I'm going to have a lot more break evens, but I'm going to have a lot less losers, and I'm going to have a lot more, wins. So that's going to increase the win rate too. So these are just things I'm thinking of. So we'll see. We'll see. And what got me thinking about that is I watched a podcast with Trader Kane. If y'all remember Trader Kane, the guy that withdrew almost $2 million last year from Apex. And he basically moves to break even very quick. But it's a whole nother psychological game. You got to be okay with getting break even trades. And seeing it run to profit after you got out of break even. You have to be okay with that. You can't let that mess you up. And the other person that said that was Vince Cohen, the other $1 million trader from Apex that a couple years ago. He said when he gets up about 10 points, he moves to break even right away. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. And neither one in Trader Kane. I've always been not really a big fan of taking partials. And Kane is definitely not a fan of taking partials. So we're on the same page there. All right, this is that 0.25 or 0.75 I was watching. I want to see if we reject here. Hey, just saying, there where I haven't been, I have no ego. I'm not going to buck a couple people that's, made a couple $1 million in a small time and duplicated that. If y'all haven't seen, Trader Kane in the last 3 months took $100,000 and turned it to 1.4 million in a live personal AMP futures account. So, hey, kudos. I don't hate. Got a lot of haters out there, especially you've been seeing it lately on YouTube and Twitter or X. Oh my gosh. Don't hate. Just learn. Figure out what people are doing. All right. So this one, oh, I marked it as inversion. It didn't even invert. It's you can see it's holding. So that's fine. Like these PD arrays are holding. And they should, right? They should. If we're gonna keep pushing higher. So where are we gonna push higher? Basically, I gotta keep watching and seeing. Yeah. Here, let me post the one that I'm talking about because he has a few interviews out there lately, a few podcasts. Let me post the one that I'm talking about because I watched all of them and this one was the best one in my opinion. Here, let me find it real quick while I'm waiting. History. Let me check history because I know I watched it recently. There we go. It was on the Titans of Tomorrow podcast. Share, copy, and there we go. There's the link. It was a really good one. All right, don't forget we have 950 macros going, but we have that news. And basically another thing. Oh, nice, Fatima. Good. I'm glad you liked that that Google sheet. Another thing. Man, I completely lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so it's the 950 Mac. Oh, I was gonna say Trader Kane also mentioned he only trades reversals, also, and that got me thinking. I was like, man, I just said that a couple weeks ago on my stream that I see those the best, and then now he's saying that he looks for a sweep and basically the 2022 model. I'm like, yeah, like all those things just like lined up for me to just get back to what I'm good at. Or not get back to it, but continue to focus on that. However, it's still a good thing if you learn other PD arrays. Like, my opinion, the order blocks, brush up on those, and breaker blocks. So those 4 PD arrays, if you get a fair value gap, order block, breaker block, and then an inversion, fair value gap, those 4 things, if you get 2 out of those 4 on an entry, you're likely to be golden. If you get 3 or 4 of those, I mean, that's what I call an A+ setup. So it's 950 macro here. Looks like we're waiting. We'll see what the news does. I want to see rejection here. If we don't reject here, then we have last week's low. After that, we might just keep going up. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what this 10 a.m. news does. 10 a.m. news. It's like pending home sales, I believe. While we're doing that, I'm going to add my new week opening gaps to my new week opening gap chart. I don't know. We might make it up there. We have a lot of new day opening gaps up there, new week opening gaps up there, like all up in this area. We'll see. Price is really stalling, so I guess we're waiting for that news, 10 a.m. news. So I also reduced my contract sizing a little bit as well because that's what I got to do. I got to really keep my discipline in check. When I have a couple mistakes like I did last week, like I said, I got to reduce my contract sizing until I correct myself and I get back on the right track. Then I can go back to my normal sizing. And that's how I kept my same accounts, all last year, basically. And coming up in, I think that's, 10 months now. So Um, because, you know, you got to be aware. So, y'all know I've mentioned, like, I love basketball. I play basketball. Basketball is my sport, right? So if you're shooting and you like 0 for 5 shooting, like you can't make a shot, you got to do something else. You got to go get a layup, a free throw, something. You can't keep doing the same thing. So I bring that into my trading, right? So like if I'm going multiple days losing, things are not going good, you got to step back, zoom out, reduce your contract sizing. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't worry. And that's why I always preach, don't worry about the money. You got to worry about the process and everything you need to do correctly to trade well, to handle your discipline. Then the money is always a byproduct of everything, right? So if you don't do all that stuff, you're going to lose money. If you do it all right, you're going to make money. Then you increase your contracts, you make more money. So right now, not worried about the money. So I say that because I reduced my contract sizing. So I'll probably make like half or a third of what I normally make on winners, but the losers won't hurt as much. All right, so we are finding some resistance here at this level, but we have 3 minutes until the news comes out. I'm curious if this is. I'm a little torn today, mainly because that drop, if it's being due to some weird crap about a Chinese company, then it's kind of messing me up a little bit, because normally if that drop was not because of that, I would say this is potential manipulation to distribute lower. But this could be, because of that, could be recovery. So we'll see. We still have a lot of nice areas of smoothness up here. We're taking, doesn't look like we're sweeping this area. So let me mark this smooth area up here as another buy side liquidity pool. Then I marked this 15-minute gap because we had a bunch, but this one was pretty obvious to me, mainly because excuse me, we dropped in here, and that's where the midpoint of the opening range gap is, and then also you see price already failed to close above the midpoint, the consequent encroachment of this 15-minute fair value gap, and then we continued down. So that's why I kind of marked that one to see. So we got about a minute, just over a minute until that news comes out. It will be interesting if we stay below last week's low. In 1 minute, we are going to get this 15-minute fair value gap as well. So if we get that, that's going to be, which we likely will, that'll be an area I'd be looking to see if we invert or hold price. I'm going to go ahead and mark it because we're going to get that. And then, like I said, we're in this daily inversion. Could push price up too. All this 15-minute gap here, traded back through it. I'm going to remove that, clean it up, clean up the chart a little bit here. Yeah, about to get that. Here comes the news. Let's see what this news does. Let's check the 4-hour. All right, so if we get a reversal, here's the 4-hour high right here. See if we get a sweep of this 4-hour high. or not. We'll see. Yeah, news didn't really do anything yet. Never know. There might be a delay. Here's our 4-hour high. Last week's low. This is still an area that we could sweep. If we're going to get a 10 a.m. reversal, this would be the area that I would like to see it reverse from. Maybe one more pop up and then drop. We don't have anything to invert on the 5 or 15-minute chart. That's a little concerning. So there's not in anything. We have this big opening bar fair value gap on the 5, same thing on the 15. Other than that, there's nothing to invert. So we'll see. Let's be a little patient here. See, I would prefer it to come up and sweep this 4-hour high first before we drop. And the reason 1, 2, 3, 4, that would give us a breaker if that happened as well. It came back up into this little fair value gap right here. But that's not enough for me. There's no displacement. No market structure shift yet. It's not enough for me. Like I said, I'd prefer to see it take this 4-hour high first. I don't need it to, but it would be nice. NASDAQ drops 3% as China's AI push rattles big tech. Then just keep on dropping. Let's do it. All right, let's see if we get a little fair value gap right here or if we get an immediate rebalance. Again, I like the rejection area, but we'll see. I want to see this get inverted. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to short this fair value gap right here. And I'm going to take it down to equilibrium. This purple line right here. And I'm okay with it hitting this fair value gap because I believe we're going to go lower. So I'm going to get ready to short there if we go up into that fair value gap. I don't watch VWAP. It got really close to the fair value gap, but hadn't gone in it yet. Couple points away. This potentially could be an order block right here as well. These up candles, because it took this liquidity up here. So we'll see if this becomes a breakaway gap or if it actually wants to go back up into it. I think it will, since we have this fair value gap here. All right, here we go. I'm short.
Order filled.
And I'm going to go ahead and put my stop right at this high up here. I hope it doesn't want to sweep the 4-hour high now.
Order submitted.
But I want to watch this bar right here. If we could stay below this point, close below that. Doesn't look like it wants to. But I like this area of not going back above. Could be wrong, but we'll see. Oh, did all my accounts get in? Yeah, it did. Yeah, right back to this fair value gap again, but yeah, not looking good. I knew today was a little bit weird for me. But we'll see if this holds up here. But I didn't like that drop. But we'll see. I still think until we take this high, that's why I'm going to stop there. Until we take this high, I'll remain with it. But if we leave a fair value gap right here, then that's not good. And my target will be, I don't think it's going to win. But my target's going to be right in here. Right where equilibrium was. Yeah, we're gonna leave this fair value gap. I don't like this anymore. Let's see, there's equilibrium. Got my target about 221.75. I don't love it anymore, so we'll see. This could be an order block here. This bar. I probably, if we come back down into this one, I'll probably move to break even just because I'm not loving it anymore. We didn't displace. So hopefully this is just an order block here, but we need to close below it. I'm not loving it anymore, so we'll see. If we can get below these lows, then I'll move to break even. I probably could right now, but we reclaimed. It looks like we reclaimed this 1 minute. We inverted it and reclaimed it, so we'll see. It's going to be interesting. But see, that's why I'm a stop up here, because you always have to expect price could trade back into this area until it takes this high, then the structure is still short. So like I said, if we hit these lows or take these lows, then I'll move to break even. Still don't have a lot of confidence in it yet right now, but we'll see. Still no displacement. And I need price to close underneath this big bar up for this to be an order block. Yeah. Let's check the halfway point of this. I don't want to see price close above the halfway point right here where it's at of this big bar. It's not looking real heavy. So that's the downfall. We'll see. Just let it play out. I wanted to take these lows so I can go ahead and move to break even. Yeah, there it goes. Still like this 0.75, but it's not doing what what it should be doing. So this is likely to go higher. At this point, it should have displaced already, and it's not. So I don't think this is gonna work out, but we'll see. I just wanted it to get low enough down here to move to break even. If we take this swing, this is likely going to be over with. So I want to see, we got 9 seconds. I want to see this swing hold and create a new swing here and then displace down. That would be my last chance, my last hope on this one. So that it happened. Let's see if we create this swing here. And if we can create this swing here, we might displace lower, but not looking good. See, I hate that we didn't sweep the 4-hour high though. I wish we would have swept that first. But at this point, like I said, I just want price to come back down here to these lows, and then I can move to a break even, and I'll be happy with the result. Whatever happens after that, I'll be happy. But see, I like the swings that it's creating here. That's nice. So we can just take this low. Take the low. And I really could move to break even at any point now just to protect this since it kind of lost its structure. But I really want to see if we could take these lows here first. That way I can give it the best opportunity. Because with this is trading well up here to to displace lower. But we'll see. It's being pretty resistant to it at the moment. I'm getting ready to time my stop to break even just in case once we hit them lows, if we can hit them. It wouldn't be a bad idea to do it now, but yeah, look at that. I'm going to put it at this swing high. Let's see. I mean, I could leave it where it originally was, but since we didn't take these lows, I don't really want to move it down more, but it's being really resistant. See if this is one last test up here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of pretty ugly. So we'll see. No displacement yet still. Maybe it'll displace through this low. And then I can move to break even. That's really all I want to do is it just to come down here, take this low so I can move to break even. Yeah, it's pretty choppy. It lost a lot of its structure for me. No displacement. I want to see it at this point stay under this 0.75 that I have marked there. See, See, I like how it's reaching, closing. Look at the bodies where they're closing. Reaching, closing lower. Reaching, closing lower. I like that. It's showing me that it is a little heavy. It is looking like it wants to displace lower. So we'll see. You just need that displacement. Give me that displacement. All right. Come on. I'm going to move to break even plus cover little costs at this point because we've been so choppy that if I get knocked out here, then I'm fine with it. But I still want to give it the opportunity to displace and go lower. Because it very well could hit this fair value gap here again. It's 15-minute again and just continue the little bit of chop. So we'll see. Displace down. We'll go to 222 here as my target. Yeah, it's reaching. Just do it. Just displace. Leave this fair value gap right here. That'd be beautiful. So hitting midpoint of this fair value gap. That could have been a target. So, and it may come back up and knock me out, but I'm going to be okay with that. I'm just going to let it go. Now, if we do struggle here a lot, then it may close it. Like if we continue to bounce and struggle here, then I might close it. But we should be able to reach back down to equilibrium. And watch this low right here to the left. Keep an eye on that. I want to see this gap get inverted. I don't want to see it trade back above or close above this old buy side liquidity I had right here. We have a little bitty fair value gap here. Watch this low again, right above this first presented fair value gap. I'm 100% okay if it knocks me out break even. But I got to give it room. It closed the lower half of this fair value gap, so we're going to invert it. One more shot down. And what I'm going to do is once this closes and inverts it, I'm going to move my stop above the midpoint of this inversion. Once it inverts it. And let it run the rest of the way. If we start rejecting here at this first presented, here, I'm going to go ahead and move it now above the middle of the inversion, just in case. I may close it at any time if we get very close. There, I'm just tightening my stop here. Kind of chase it. All right, I'm out. Got knocked out. I'm cool because we have all these wicks here. It could literally stop at any point in here. I think it keeps going, but for me, my low-hanging fruit, I'm good with that. So 55 grand, a little over 5 grand, and I'm on way less contracts than normal. So if I was on my normal size, that would have been a really nice trade. Let me make sure all my stuff is closed. Yeah, here we go. 5381. So let me throw up my executions here. And see, that's why I don't look at VWAP. 297.25 minus 234.50. That was a 62-point trade. Hey, that's nice. 251 ticks. If I would have been on my normal sizing, I'm usually anywhere from 4 micros to 1 mini, depending on the contract size, right? So that's like times 3. I mean, that's 700. That would have been $750 to $1,200 per account, roughly 20 grand a day if I was on my normal sizing. But since I'm reduced sizing, hey, I can live with $5,300. No problem. Nice. 75 on micro. Sweet. All right. Good day. Good day. Good day. Hey, I'm not going to lie. It got a little, this bar right here, this wasn't an order block. This is an order block. So see, look, if you measure it, the body here, let's get rid of, hold on real quick. Let me take my screenshot first because I always forget to take my screenshot and I start messing with stuff. Hold on. Let me save my screenshot real quick. All right, got my screenshot. Now I can start messing with stuff here. Let me get rid of this one. Now let me look. Let me show you here. This one, look how. Here, let me go to this. Right here, we did overshoot it, but then when we came back down, these 2 wicks where I said, oh, look how the wicks reached up and the bodies are closing down. I didn't even notice it, but look where it reached up to. The midpoint mean threshold of the order block. Boom, boom, and then drop. Nice. And this will likely keep going, but see, look, and here's this inversion now. So what I would look at, look how the bodies are closing below the midpoint, but the wicks are doing the damage. So that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to see it close back above this buy side liquidity here. And I really don't want to see it close above the midpoint of this inversion. But hey, I don't need all that. I don't need more. That's all I need. And I'm good with it. But what also 2 things worried me a little bit, like I said, is we didn't sweep this 4-hour high. And then also the whole news thing, or not news thing, the tech thing, the drop because of just like a weird tech thing company. So then to me, it's like, oh, does that mess up? Like, does that mess things up for me? I don't know. So glad it worked out. Glad it worked out. Hey, look at that. It might just, that's also why I take the low hanging fruit. Because that's why I got out. I actually got out at the right time. Look at that. Let's see. My exit was 234.50. This low was 227.50. So about 6 points off. So probably, no, it wouldn't have hit my target because my target was at 222. So it would have been 5 points away from my target. So that's why, too, you got to be ready to close or move your stop, tighten your stop. So in this case, I tightened my stop. So all good, all good. Hey, that was nice. That was nice. I'll take it. Good day. I didn't make any money today, but hey, that's fine, Max. That is fine. No problem. Making no money is better than losing money. Always. I don't know if we completely reverse yet. The market structure is still short until we take these swings here. But I mean, we could be. We could displace up. Like I said, I see why price could just recover today. So, and we have a lot of reason up here. This new week opening gap, like there's still some more buy side liquidity up here. So, hey, not my concern anymore. So, hey, 10:25, we got the trade at the right time. We're good to go. So, like I said, Wednesday, I will not be streaming Wednesday. I won't be trading. I'm not trading Wednesday. Not at all. Not even off stream because Fed funds rate is at 2 p.m. Now, if you're going to trade, I'd recommend if you do, wait till in the afternoon, 2:30, 3 o'clock. But I just don't like price action on those days, those mornings. But yeah, other than that, should be good the rest of the week. So I hope y'all, if you got a trade today, this morning, I hope it went well. If you didn't take a trade, hey, no problem. You are not red. And if you're going to continue trading, trade well. So I'm going to hop off here and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hey, hit that like button. Hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed. That way you see tomorrow every time I go live. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.